What's going on, everybody? Welcome to what we're calling Zen's Book Corner. We're keeping it real chill. Low, we got some, some beats going on in the background, just kind of hanging out, talking about manga. Shout outs to Zawardo for trying really hard to get me to read Dandadan for like a year and a half. Finally, I have given in. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Dandadan. It's really hard to do this alone. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't like to run like a script or anything. I like to do all of this live, so it's just my thoughts. That's why I mess up so much. Same with Shonen and Chill. I don't really script it or take notes or anything. I just like to talk about what I'm looking at. I'm a very emotional, engaged with like media kind of person. I don't like to pull out a checklist like a CinemaSins kind of thing and like go down and be like, actually, the lighting was off on this frame. Like, I don't give a shit. If it makes me feel the feelings, it's rad. And so that's why I don't like to take a lot of notes. I like to just have emotion vomit out of me about whatever it is that I'm talking about. So sorry if this is a little, how would you say, a little disorganized, a little loose, a little loosey-goosey. Also, sorry if it's bad. You might notice that I only team up on Shonen and Chill with people who are a lot smarter than me, because that way they can carry the show and I can just kind of talk in the background behind them. That's the secret to the Shonen and Chill sauce, is that whenever you make a show, whenever you make a podcast with other people, only get people who are smart and good at the stuff that you're dumb and bad at. So that way, they've got you locked down, right? I don't have to do anything. I'm just there for the ride. That's the secret sauce to success in anything. Find people who are good at stuff and make them do it all for you. But anyway, all right, so we're here. We're talking about Dandadan. It has... How many chapters does this fucking thing have? So I don't want to get Manga Plus, the subscription or whatever. Premium or whatever it's called. Which means I only get to read it for free one time. And I can't read it for free again, so I can't like go back and look at it. There's 161 chapters right now that are out. And the next one comes out on July 1st. So it comes out on this upcoming Monday. This should be up before it comes out. So that's not going to be in this video. And no, I'm not going to do another one for like every chapter that comes out because of the pricing tier. It's very confusing. I'm doing it based on the ones that are available right now. This is what you're getting. You're getting my speak on this. Because I can't actually go in and like look at these chapters again while I'm talking like I normally would, because I don't want to buy I don't want to buy manga. What is it? Manga Plus Max. You know what? Live on the air. How much does that cost? How much is that? Oh, it's $2 a month. Read all chapters. All right. I'll do $2 live on the air. I'll pay $2 a month. Just all this just for Dandadan, because they won't put it on the regular Shonen Jump app because it's a freak manga for freaks. All right. So, Dandadan series created by, what's the author's name? Yukinobu Tatsu. I don't know if he does anything else. I don't know mangaka names very well. I could look it up, but I'm not gonna. Don't know if he does anything else. It's a series about a couple of kids, I guess they're like high schoolers, who are into different aspects of the paranormal. You got Momo, who believes in spirits, and Okarun, who believes in aliens. And it turns out both spirits and aliens exist. Is it good? It fucking sucks, dog. It's super ass. Really miserable experience at first. Okay, so if you're familiar with the Undead Unluck experiment, where they were like, you know what? How do we get people to like our manga? What if we cover it in uncomfortable, weird, edgy, like booby humor? Dandadan does the same thing, and it does it a little bit worse, I think. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm not gonna try to. I'm not power scaling sexual assault or whatever, but it's not good. Um, it's not good. There are some things that the early chapters do well. The art for Dandadan goes super hard. I really enjoy it. The creature designs are always freaky. They're scary. The first time you see the Serpoians or whatever it is they're called in chapter 1, they're creepy as hell because they're just like weird, uncanny looking humans because all aliens disguise themselves on Earth and they're actually like weird looking. I don't even know what they look like. They're just weird aliens, but they have their human disguises and their human disguises are gross, freaky, nasty. I don't like them. All of the spirit designs are cool. And I don't know around the chapter where the dumb shit stops. It's kind of after I don't know if befriend is the right word, but after Turbo Granny kind of becomes like an ally because she gets stuffed in the cat doll. She becomes like the M-rated version of Khan from Bleach. It kind of stops with the weird like edgy sex humor. It's very similar to Undead Unluck in that regard, where it's just like, wow, this fucking blows, and then you're like, oh wait, no, it doesn't. It's actually really good. Dandadan is super good. It you really got to fight through that early beginning. Once you get through it, though, it is some super quality stuff. It is a jump. I think it's what is it? Jump Plus? Is that what it's in? I don't know what it's in. If it's yeah, it's shown in Jump Plus, I think. Um, it's really good. I really enjoy it. It's, in my opinion, probably better than anything running in the main book except for maybe Kagurabachi. At least right now. You know, I think it probably there's some other stuff that has peaked up there. Obviously, like My Hero at its peak or JJK at its peak or whatever. We're talking that's a different story. But the series right now, as they are in the current format of the world or whatever the hell you want to call it, the format of the book, I think I enjoy Dandadan more than anything else in it, which is unfortunate that it's not only Jump Plus, but it's also not on the Jump app, so it's like double hard. I don't think I could even hold a gun to Asa's head to get him to drop another $2 on this just for Dandadan. See what I do for you people? I spent $4 on this. So it's probably not ever going to migrate to the main show for that reason, but I think it's really great once you get past the obnoxious garbage. The beginning is always pretty funny. I really enjoyed the really early chapters with Seiko, the granny, the very first time you meet her, because she's talked about from the very beginning. We don't meet her until a couple of chapters in. And she's on like a reality show, and she is trying to tell somebody's fortune, and the person's like, actually, wow, that's crazy. All of those were wrong. And you're like, oh, she is a fraud. Because all the conflict in the beginning, it comes from the fact that Momo called her a fraud a long time ago. And because that kind of hurt her, like, it made her feel bad for hurting her grandmother's feelings and being mean to her. So that's why she believes in spirits, because even though she's never seen them, she chooses to trust her grandmother. I think that's cute on its own, but then it shows her finally, and she kind of looks like fraud, right? Because she opens up and the person's like, nope, you're wrong. Oh, you're wrong again. Oh, you're wrong again. But then it goes through the actual events of the chapter where she's like shows up and helps out with fighting the Turbo Granny possessed Okarun, and she kind of kicks its ass, which is impressive because obviously they've been struggling to deal with her up to that point. And then it ends the chapter with the reveal that the guy who said that she was wrong about everything was lying the whole time, and she was actually right. I thought that was a super cool little reveal. I also like that she is super tough, and she's like very strong, but she's not like Satoru Gojo levels of like, I can do whatever I want. Her power is limited based on location. She can only use her abilities like in the city where she has the blessing of the god of that city, so she can't just like go around and solve every problem for them, whereas the kids who have their own powers that are not location dependent, but they're not as strong as her, often have to go out and solve a lot of the problems. Beginning arc kind of sucks. It's not great. The Turbo Granny stuff, the character of Turbo Granny gets a lot better, but she's really miserable in the beginning because every line of dialogue out of her mouth is just like edgy, dumb shit. Every everything that she says in these first arcs kind of reminds me of those Dragon Ball like fan scans where Vegeta's like, "Come and get me, Beerus, you cocksucker." It's like that kind of thing, like it's just dumb. It's just dumb. But she gets better. She's still like crass, but I don't care about like crass humor. But when it's not super edgy and stupid, crass humor is fine, I think. So I don't mind that. She does end up kind of joining the team eventually, becomes a recurring character. A lot of different classmates kind of come in of varying quality, but I think they're all pretty good. You have to, I'm not good with names. The girl who gets possessed by another spirit, the acrobat Silky, she's like their first semi-ally. She's kind of an ally, kind of not, because she has like this rivalry thing going on with Momo. She's fine. Gigi I really like. He is Momo's childhood friend who joins up with the team. He's one of my favorites. Basically, this entire story is children getting possessed by ghosts one after the other for a very long time, actually. Momo's power is that she like has the telekinesis and she can grab auras. She has like the force for auras. Okarun is possessed by the power of the Turbo Granny, so he can transform into like a devil form with the Turbo Granny's powers. The Acrobat Silky girl gets killed by Acrobat Silky, but then Acrobat Silky feels bad about it and kind of gives up her life to, or I guess her afterlife, to revive her. And then because she was revived with the aura of a spirit, she has that spirit's powers. So she can transform into a devil form, kind of like Okarun can, with the Acrobat Silky's powers. Gigi gets possessed by a spirit called the Evil Eye in one of my favorite arcs, I think, of the series, when they are investigating like this scary house where they're sacrificing people to a Mongolian deathworm cryptid. And there's also this monster in there that's called the Evil Eye that was one of the early sacrifices to this thing, and it kind of seems like it's going to be another case of like, oh, this is a sad spirit backstory. We're going to save him and it's going to be great. But it turns out it's actually a bad guy. And it wants to kill all of humanity. Eventually they find out that he's kind of not a bad guy. He's just a kid who died really young. He was killed and sacrificed at a very young age. And he doesn't really understand that murdering people isn't fun. Like, he's just trying to enjoy himself. So they work out like an arrangement with him where Okarun becomes strong enough to fight him kind of one-on-one without just getting stomped, because he was kind of stomping everybody at first. And so they come to an agreement that they'll fight together once a week if the evil spirit doesn't hurt anybody else. So then he's not really on their team, but he's not an active detriment anymore. Who else is on the team? There is a mantis shrimp alien that I really like. His real name, I think, is Peeny Weeny, but they call him Mr. Shrimp. I really like Mr. Shrimp. He turns into a mantis shrimp so he can punch really hard underwater, because, there's other shrimps that have, like, the wave motion gun punches. But he can't breathe underwater. He doesn't have any gills. So that's like his weakness. Also, his child has a horrible genetic condition where he's constantly losing blood, but their blood is milk, so they go work on a dairy farm so they can be good guys. They also make friends, sort of-ish, with a Serpoian, one of the aliens from before, because they team up against a larger alien threat in like one of the bigger climax arcs of this. Because there's a lot of like little stuff in the beginning that's just kind of like, uh-oh, we're dealing with this spirit this time. Uh-oh, we're dealing with this spirit this time. But then it expands into something kind of bigger, where the overarching sort of narrative here is that aliens are trying to invade Earth, but they can't because of all of the spirits and the demons, right? So the two sort of aspects of the supernatural sort of play off each other, where aliens want to take over the world, and they have all of this crazy tech and like spaceships and crazy robot suits and stuff, but ultimately they're not capable of doing so because they're not strong enough to deal with all of the yokai and the demons and stuff on Earth. So it creates kind of a stalemate. What are the best arcs? What are the ones I liked the most? I really liked the Mongolian Deathworm. I really like the invasion arc where the aliens kind of try to invade and then they get stomped. It's pretty cool. I really like the current one. There's a Jumanji arc. If anybody remembers the movie Jumanji, there's an arc that's a direct parody of it, and the new character's name I think is literally like Zumanji. I think is his name or something like Zun Unji or something like. It's his name is literally a Jumanji reference. The whole arc is Jumanji. It's really cool. I don't really know what to say about this. Is the what kind of makes it special to me is I'm one of those nerds who kind of thinks paranormal stuff is cool. Not like I'm not like a ghost hunter or like I'm not watching Ghost Hunters, you know. But I like watch or not watch. I like read Wikipedia articles on like old cryptids and stuff, and I'm like, that's neat. What if that was real? And so like, okay. If you know about like the Flatwoods monster that supposedly attacks a farmhouse in like Kentucky or something, and he's like a weird little freaky dude, he shows up in like chapter 2. Nessie is in it. The Loch Ness monster shows up for a while. They've got the Jumanji stuff. Well, they've got like they have all kinds of. But the Mongolian Deathworm is one too. There is like a crazy cryptid that's not supposed to exist is actually real, and that's just cool to me. I don't know. I like supernatural shit like that. I'm kind of so-so on the alien stuff. The aliens are kind of more boring because I think the creature design in this is really cool. Like all of the spirits look freaky. They look kind of, and they're all based on like real stuff. Like Turbo Granny is apparently actually a folklore thing that's like real. I think all of the yokai that they use in this, or all the the cryptids and the yokai and the spirits and stuff, are all based on actual folklore, which is also cool because you can look that stuff up later when you're done and be like, it's neat. But all of the monsters and the spirits look sufficiently freaky. The backstory writing is really like messed up a lot of the time in a good way. It's very tragic. It's very sad. Pretty much every character has a pretty messed up backstory. Momo, I guess, is like the only one I can and Alcarin's is kind of sad. Alcarin like never had any friends because everyone always picks on him. But that's pretty milquetoast compared to some of the horrible shit that's happening to people later. There's a character at one point whose dad dies on the job. He dies from overwork. The dad is the workplace where the dad dies. They're like, well, we don't care. We didn't tell him to work that hard. He killed himself. We're not going to help you at all. We're not going to like pay out anything. So they get nothing. Then the brother, the younger brother, he really likes this umbrella, right? He loves his umbrella, and it gets blown away in the rain. He's like this super happy, cheery kid. They're too poor to afford 2 sets of clothes and all this kind of stuff, so most everything that the younger brother owns is a hand-me-down from the older brother. But he ends up getting a pair of rain boots and an umbrella that's just his, and he loves it to death because it's just his own thing. And so he always carries the umbrella everywhere, and he's always happy. There's like scenes of him getting beat up and bullied for it, and he's still smiling while he's like bleeding from the head because he's just super happy all the time. Well, his umbrella blows away in a rainstorm. He goes to run after it, falls in the river, and drowns and dies. So now the family has lost the husband and the brother, and the brother was kind of like the sunshine and glue that was sort of like holding the family together, right? And so the mother snaps and takes the only remaining child to like Disneyland, basically, and they go to this theme park and they have this awesome time. And it's all shown in like silent panel, so they're doing stuff, but they're not like talking or anything. And so it's showing the mom and the child, and they're like on rides and getting ice cream and all this stuff. And then the page turn is the mother holding the child's arm and then trying to jump both of them in front of a train to murder-suicide them both. The kid does manage to pull away. The mom falls in, the mom dies. Then the kid kind of falls in with gangs and stuff because he goes to foster homes, and as you know, anytime a foster home is shown in media of any kind, it's always awful. There's like 10% of foster homes shown in media are actually positive places. So he gets the shit kicked out of him by the other foster kids and stuff. They're all super mean to him, and his life sucks. So he runs away, joins some gangs, falls in with a bad crowd, gets arrested, and this cop who has been kind of recurring up to this point, Not really recurring. I think he's new to this arc too, but he's shown up prior to the reveal that he took this kid in, right? So he takes the kid in, and he's like, I'm gonna help you out. Cop also has a sad backstory that his wife and baby daughter were stabbed to death by someone who's angry because he hates the world, and he just wants to punish happy people. So he stabbed this cop's wife and daughter to death for no reason other than because he was angry. And the cop kind of gives this lesson of like, the world does suck, everything's awful, there's very little happiness or light out there, but I'm not going to lose because of that. I'm not going to let the world win. I'm going to help as many people as I can. So he takes this kid in, they slowly bond over time, and then there is someone who's drowning, and the cop jumps in to save the person who's drowning, very similar to when the younger brother died all those years ago. The older brother, who is now basically the ward of this cop, gets demon power and ends up saving them both because he has powers of the umbrella demon, which may or may not be the spirit of his brother, I don't know. But the spirit of the umbrella demon helps him get them out of the river and saves them. And then he gets kind of possessed by another yokai as well. He's like double possessed now, where they're like, it's feeding him his negative emotions and all the hatred that he had before. Because he's kind of a good guy now. He's like mellowed out now that the cop has kind of helped him. And he's become like one of those good guy delinquents, you know, who's like still a delinquent, but he just kind of helps other delinquents and he doesn't really do anything bad anymore. And so now he's kind of getting pushed back to that like rage-filled state that he had when he was young, and he's tearing shit up and he's like trying to kill people because he's getting possessed by this other yokai. It's rough stuff, man. It's rough stuff. Characters make you feel for them a lot. Now the one thing I will say is that characters make that you feel for them, but nobody really dies ever. It's up to you if you think that's bad or not. There's some pretty messed up stuff that goes on, like entire alien civilizations being eaten and harvested, but then the next time you see them, they won, right? Like we actually won the battle and we're all okay, we're all happy now. There's a lot of that, and so if tragedy for you is upended by a happy resolution, then this may not be for you, because everyone comes out okay in the end, mostly. I'm trying to think if anyone dies. If they did, they weren't very memorable. Obviously the people in the backstories die. Like a lot of the backstories have a lot of death in them. But there's not really anything that like in the current moment that usually results in a death of a major character. I really can't think of anything. And I'm sure that this arc won't either. Which I don't really mind that much. But I will say that like tragedy into everything is okay now gets a little repetitive. It hasn't happened for me yet with Dandadan, but it's starting to get to that point, I guess, where if you're gonna make everything the most tragic, horrible, sad story ever, and then they always come out on top, it's like, okay, let's do something different. Let's do some lighter stuff for a bit, right? Like you don't need to make every single story the worst thing you've ever heard in your whole life, but then everyone's all smiles at the end, you know? There's no harm in mixing it up a little bit. Not every anime arc needs to be a tournament arc, you know? You can have fun. You can do some other stuff. But I don't have a lot... Oh, okay. I was going to say I don't have a lot of criticism for this, and I mostly don't. That is still true. But I feel like people who know both series are going to bring this up, so I want to talk about it. I'm also pretty much out of stuff to talk about, so we're going to wrap up here pretty soon. So there's sort of a very similar thing going on between this and Nue's Exorcist, where Okarun and John Nue's Exorcist, the guy, whoever that dude is, whatever the main character of Nue's Exorcist is, they're both like super huge loser dweebs, and they have like all the cute girls all over them and stuff all the time. As to why it bothers me in Nue and doesn't bother me in this, I don't know, to be honest. It doesn't really bother me in this that much. It might be because the main character in this is a girl, so you kind of get a lot of her perspective, whereas in Nue, the girls kind of feel like they're there to make him look okay. Maybe it's not. I should preface with I dropped New a long time ago. I made it up to the point where you meet his like sister, and then I dropped it. So maybe it's different now. But back then, New felt a whole lot like the girls were being used to like prop this dude up and make you feel like, oh, I'm a loser like this guy, but look at him getting these cute girls by being a loser, like, or whatever. But because the story for Dandadan, I mean, Okarun and Momo are both kind of main characters, but at least in my brain, I have Momo sorted as the protagonist of this. And so you get a lot more of her perspective on the way that she thinks and the feelings that she has for this guy and why he's important to her. And they're legitimate real things, right? It's not just like, you are a total loser fuckhead boy, but you're nice. Hold my hand awkwardly. And then, oh, my boobies fell out under the waterfall or whatever happens in Nue's Exorcist. I don't know anymore. This isn't really that. Like, there's some uh-oh, oopsie moments in it. Like, I think they have more than one moment where somebody turns a corner and sees their romantic interest flirting with another character, but that's like just baseline romance stuff, right? Like, it's in Blue Box, it's in everything. It's not that bad. I think the reason that I don't mind it so much in this, and I do mind it in Nue, is purely because of just that feeling that when the guy is the main character and they're covered in women and the women don't get a lot of screen time to really do anything or feel anything because the story's not about them, it feels kind of weird. Whereas when the story is about the girl and so you spend a lot of time in her head, it's a little easier for me to digest, I guess. I'll put it that way. All in all, it's really good. It's really funny. It's really cute. The art is amazing. The creature design is really good. The aliens are mostly okay. Honestly, don't have a whole lot of criticism. Those first chapters really suck. The character who's just the fat pervert loser weirdo, I don't know if he's there to make Okarun look better by comparison or what. I don't know why he's there. He's probably my least favorite character of everybody. He's probably the only main cast member I could just do without completely. There's usually one in like every show where there's one main cast member where you're like, I don't want this guy in the team. Go away. Like the tape arms guy. Nobody wants the tape arms guy. But he's there anyway. That's the tape arms guy in this series is the fat pervert weirdo loser. But all in all, it's really good. Most of the characters are really cute. They have good motivations for doing what they do. They're just kind of good people going through and exploring a real world, air quotes, that's more interesting than our own, right? It's based in reality, but like not in the way that Bleach is. You know how Bleach is like based in reality, but also they go to like feudal Japan heaven, and also there's like a British heaven also for Burn the Witch, and it's like, it's not that. It's the real world in real places, but also there's spirits and the cryptids that like the implementation of cryptids and stuff that exist, air quotes, exist in folklore of the real world makes it feel a little bit more like interesting and more intimately tied to reality than something that's entirely fictional, but also sometimes is in Japan, kind of like Bleach, you know? So that's my thoughts on it. It's a very touching, heartwarming little story so far. I really like almost everyone. Cast is great. It's big, but it doesn't feel too cluttered. I mean, I did not enjoy it for a little bit. I probably started enjoying it around 14-ish, chapter 14 to 15, that general area. And once I got to the point where I was enjoying it, I didn't put it down until I finished. I was actually only planning to do the first 100 chapters and then do a second video talking about the next 61. I can't even do that because I burned through all the chapters so fast that I didn't want to stop reading. So I fucked up my own content schedule because I didn't want to stop reading. Like, that's how good it is. So highly recommend that you get your hands on it. It's super good if you like, you know, spiritual cryptid stuff. It's not a traditional Exorcist manga in the way that you think about normal Exorcist stuff. It's more like a mix of like Scooby-Doo bullshit and like Exorcist stuff. So I think it's really good. I think it has a lot of personality, even in a field that, as everyone knows, is highly saturated in the manga market right now. Um, I can't praise it enough, to be honest. I know it sounds like I'm running out of stuff to say, but that's because there's too much good stuff to say. If you're a fan of manga in general, I think you'll have a hard time not liking this. To be honest, I mean that's really all there is to it. If you like manga, you will like Dandadan. That's all I have to say. All right, well, thank you for coming along with me on this inaugural journey to my inane rambling for Zen's Book Club. We will jump in again with another series, not next week, because I am taking the week off for Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail. Shout out to my fellow Warriors of Light if you play that game. But I will be back the following week, so there's going to be no Shonen and Chill this weekend either. So if you're looking for, this is technically a Shonen and Chill on week, but we are taking it off again for Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail. I am not going to stop it just to record Shonen and Chill, so it's getting pushed until the following week. So you will not hear from me again, at least in video form. Well, this will go up this weekend for non-patrons, and then that's the last you'll hear of me until the following weekend when Shonen and Chill does go up. So thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks you again, Zawardo, for the recommendation. I never would have gotten past the god-awful opening to this if you didn't try so goddamn hard to get me to read it, so I really appreciate that because I do really enjoy it. Has potential to be an all-timer for me. It really does. So, alright everybody, I will catch you in the next one, and stay chill. Don't get too crazy, stay cool. It's burning hot where I am. I don't know how it is where you are, but where I am I could die any minute now from this freaking heat. But I'll see you soon. Goodbye everybody.